Hello, welcome back to the Fabienne Show. Today I want to share a few thoughts with you about something that's super close to my heart. In fact, I wrote a quote a few years ago that has gone viral for many years now. It has been requoted, reposted by regular people, by famous people. Countless memes have been created out of it. It's in books. You know how people write books and they put a quote in their book to begin a chapter? More than one book has this quote of mine. It's engraved in shop windows. People have made trinkets out of it. Here is the quote. "The things you are passionate about are not random. They are your calling." This idea of calling and life's purpose and this reason for being is a very large part of what I do as a business coach, but also as somebody who champions women to do great work in the world. So the thing that I'd like to discuss with you today is the idea that your calling is bigger than you think. 20 years ago, I was desperately trying to figure out what my purpose was in this life. I knew there was such a thing as life purpose, and I was trying to figure it out. What is my purpose? What is my calling? What is my reason for being? Because I wanted so desperately to serve in a capacity that makes a difference in people's lives. There is an assessment that I use in business coaching created by Sally Hogshead, and it's on howtofascinate.com. And my archetype in the Fascinate test is the catalyst. It's a combination of passion and rebellion, or passion and innovation. And the catalyst is the person who wants to make a difference in people's lives. I literally live to make a difference in people's lives. That's what allows me to put my head on the pillow at the end of the day and say, today was a good day. And sometimes even a little tear comes into my eye. So this idea of using your life for good is at the core of who I am. I was looking for my life's purpose, and the more you search, the more you read, you end up figuring out what it is. In fact, I teach on day one of the 3-day event that I am relaunching in the new year. Day one is all about figuring out your life's purpose and then how to monetize it. If you're ever interested in coming to that 3-day event, just watch this space. I'll be announcing it here and in my email newsletter. But all of that to say, once I got clear about my life's purpose, everything felt aligned. So you may be walking around your business or your life thinking, do I have a calling? Or maybe you know that you have a calling and you don't know what it is yet. Or maybe you know what your calling is, but you don't know how to use it. That's what we're going to talk about today. I realized that my impact was much greater than I originally thought. I believe the same is true for you. What I've discovered in all this time of working with so many thousands of women entrepreneurs, and I thank you for putting your trust in me, especially women, is that we tend to downplay or shrink our calling, thinking it's not that important. Maybe you have fear of being taken seriously, or that fear of failure, or fear of success, or maybe there are societal expectations that you want to meet or you're afraid of not meeting, or a lack of confidence in stepping into your bigger calling. In today's episode of the Fabienne Show, we will explore why your calling is so much bigger than you think and how to step fully into it with confidence, even if it feels overwhelming. I would like to begin with understanding what your calling is. And for me, a calling or a purpose or a reason for being is that deeper sense within you of having a mission in your life, a mission that lights you up, that gives you tingles. For me, a tear comes to my eyes when I think about it. It is this feeling that you are aligned with your unique gifts. It's a feeling that You're meant to bring something into the world. Like, your life is not just a life. You actually have a reason for living. The Japanese have this saying or this word called Ikigai, right? Ikigai, and that is your reason for being. I live my life around this, and everyone that I work with, I take them through a process, whether it's you want to create a business that scales and makes good money and makes good impact, that the impact comes from your calling. Or if you want to create a delicious life and you want to be more of a bold-hearted woman, we need to get clear what is it that lights you up and aligns you with your greatest gifts. So I believe that a really juicy, delicious life and really worthwhile work is when we are indeed aligned with our calling and we are living it every day and we are using it as fairy dust in helping people around us to live a better life or achieve a certain goal or feel something. So what are some signs that you have a bigger calling? I just want to talk about some of the clues that indicate that your calling is maybe bigger than you realize right now. Maybe you're feeling this stirring. We've talked about this in past episodes of the Fabienne Show, especially the Divine Discontent show. If you haven't listened to that, absolutely listen to that. This stirring inside that makes you feel like you are meant for more. Or maybe you're feeling this nudge, this prodding, like something more is here for me in my life. Maybe you are getting feedback from other people about your potential. Me, I feel like I'm meant for something really big. And some people say to me, but you have done something really big. And I say to them, deep inside, I know that there is something really big that wants to come through me. Bigger than anything that I've experienced before. It has nothing to do with money and nothing to do with accumulation and everything to do with alignment and service and helping more people, helping humanity, even if it sounds grandiose to you as I say that. Maybe you know exactly what I mean. Maybe you have a feeling that there is more for you to do, more for you to experience, more for you to be in service to people. Maybe you just don't know how to get there. This is what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to share my process as I see it of me stepping into my next evolution of what I'm here to do. And part of it, I have to be honest with you, is this podcast. This podcast is me talking about all the stuff I really love to talk about that I read about when I'm by myself, whether it's for my personal life or my business life. And so what I've also noticed is that we women, maybe guys too, but I haven't been a guy in this lifetime, so I don't know. But we women tend to shrink our calling. And I just want to put forth some of the common reasons why I think we downplay our purpose. Once again, I think that there is this fear of failure. What will happen if I step out there and try something? What if it doesn't work? What if people think I'm crazy? This imposter syndrome, as you know, we've also done an episode here on the Fabienne Show about imposter syndrome and how to deal with it. Or the belief that you don't know enough yet. You are not good enough to do this. Who am I to think I can do something as big as what's on my heart? Maybe you feel like you're not ready yet. It isn't the right time. One of the things that I teach in that 3-day event that I am rebranding and dusting off for the new year is this concept of ripple effect. I talk about this on day 1 to really have you get the impact of your bigger calling. And so if those of you who are listening know that I used to do this 3-day mindset retreat, we're not going to call it that going forward, but I used to ask you to imagine a clear lake at dusk where it's silvery blue and it's really calm. And I want you to imagine that you pick up this large pebble and you throw it onto the surface of the lake. What happens? Well, when the pebble hits the surface of the water, it creates a ripple effect. And I want you to imagine that as you step into boldly, courageously, or little by little, as you step into your calling, you're creating a ripple effect too. It doesn't just affect your life. If you are an entrepreneur, the more people you work with, the more you create a ripple effect in not just their life, but the lives of the people in their lives. And the more and more people you touch with your calling, your purpose, your reason for being, the more you change your community, your state or area, your country, and dare I say, the world. And so you may not be realizing how much power you actually do have. You never really fully know how distinctly you are affecting people's lives. I want you to know that through the Unstoppable Foundation and my friend Cynthia Kersey, great friend of mine, with the help of the Bold Heart community, over a period of maybe 7 or 8 years, I was able to raise funds with your help to build 26 classrooms, 26 schoolrooms in the Masai Mara region of Kenya in Africa. It's not something I talk about a lot. It is something that moves me so deeply. At first, it was a way of giving back. Cynthia would send me videos and reports and books that the young women, girls in Kenya would write to me. They would tell me about their lives. And this isn't even my direct work, right? This is just something I would do on the side. And then one day I took my daughter Claire, I think she was 10 or 11, and we went and spent 10 days in the Masai Mara of Kenya. And I don't know if I can even tell you this story without shedding a tear, but we arrived in a village in Kenya, and we got out of the big Jeep, or I don't know what it was, and we started hearing lots of drumming and lots of chanting from far, far away. And as we were walking towards this village, we saw that hundreds of people were walking towards us, drumming and singing and dancing. And I was like, what is this? And I realized they came to see me and Claire. They came to say thank you and to share their gratitude for the schools and the teachers, people who had no shoes, who had walked for hours. The children walked for hours to school, and they walked for hours on a Saturday to come and see us. And it was one of the most joyous moments of my life, where I had no idea how much raising funds from the stage to build 26 schools made a very real difference to several communities. And I know as you're hearing this, you're like, yeah, well, I'm not building schools. It's not about how big the thing is, because sometimes you can just do one little thing and it will make a difference in people's lives. I remember this one woman, I was speaking in Western Virginia. I think it was actually to sell tickets for that mindset event. I was giving hugs, as I do, to everybody before the event even started. And this woman ran up to me and she said, Fabienne, I need to say thank you to you. And she hugged me and I was like, I'm so happy to meet you. She's like, you've changed my life. I said, okay, great. Have we met before? She's like, no, we haven't met, but you posted this one thing on Facebook and it was your green smoothie recipe. And I lost 60 pounds because I've been making that green smoothie every day. You have no idea the impact you have by just showing up in the world and just talking about the things that make you happy or that are important to you. And we hugged and we cried and it was so beautiful. But it doesn't have to necessarily be this world-changing thing. It's all about the small actions that can lead to massive change. So really, I'm hoping to activate in you today is this idea of expanding your vision. I want to encourage you to think about your calling beyond the immediate impact, right? So let's say you're a therapist, or let's say you're an interior designer, or you're a coach or a consultant. Yeah, you create an immediate impact in the lives of your clients, but there's more. You may not realize that the more you align with your vision, with your mission, with your purpose, the more that your work can touch more people, can shift whole industries, and can even change societal norms. That pebble that you throw on that placid lake has infinite reverberations. And for me, and this is what I teach in Bold Heart Business, in the Leveraged Business program, is that I believe we have a moral obligation, a divine duty to help more people. That it feels really nice to use your life to try to affect as many people as possible. And even if you're listening to this and you don't have a business, there are ways of you being in the world by spreading love, by spreading positivity, by encouraging people, by doing your art and bringing beauty into the world, by bringing conflict resolution, by raising your kids in a certain way. Don't underestimate how powerful that is. And so you may think, oh, just little old me. I don't really have a reason for being. I would like to push back and say, not only do you have a reason for being and a calling, and it is the thing that you are passionate about, even if you take it for granted, but I want you to expand your vision of what's possible when you fully lean in, when you fully do the thing, even though it doesn't feel like you're making that much of a difference. And so for me, I know that I am a powerful, innovative, spiritual teacher and healer in the world community. You may think, spiritual teacher and healer, but you're a business coach. But I do it through my business. I do it in my personal interactions. I do it in my business. Many people call me a spiritual business coach. I'm all about the strategy. I'm all about you scaling your business. But the reason why is I'm here in service of the divine feminine. I am here because in my heart of hearts, I know that women, when they make their own money and lots of it, they have a voice and a choice. I study the patriarchy. I study women around the world. You and I are from relatively very wealthy countries. And even if you're not wealthy yet, I've seen how women who don't make their own money don't have a voice, don't have a choice. They're dependent on other people, even in our country. And so when you make your own money and lots of it, you take up more space in the world. You speak up for what you believe in. You can make right wrong things. When you are sovereign, when you can take care of your own needs, you give yourself permission to be the fullest expression of who you really are. That light inside of you, that passion that you have. There's less shrinking. And I really do believe, like the Dalai Lama said famously, that the world will be changed by women. And the way that women feel more capable of speaking up is when they don't depend on other people. So I'm not just a business coach. I am a person who believes that women are absolutely necessary to the world as they step in to their feminine role of nurture and compassion and collaboration and working with nature as opposed to against it. So all of that to say, I know what my purpose is, and every day in every way, I am turning up the volume on encouraging women and making them feel capable and giving them the tools to be. Let's now talk about why your calling can feel overwhelming and actually why that's a good thing. So what I have experienced, I don't know about you, is a fear of stepping up into my reason for being. And when I speak to other people, whether it be my clients or friends who also feel this stirring, this divine realignment, they are feeling that too. There is a fear that comes with recognizing that you are meant for more and how big it can actually be. When I was writing my first book, Embrace Your Magnificence, my husband came home one day and he said, "How was your day?" I said, "I finished writing the book." And he said, "Are you happy?" And I just started crying. And I said, "It's too big. I can't even begin to make a dent into all that needs to be done for women to embrace their magnificence and to speak up and take up more space." I just felt really helpless. I know in the depths of my heart that the world will be changed when women step up and take more of a leadership role in all areas of their life. Really, when women reclaim themselves and reclaim their sovereignty and reclaim their power and reclaim their voice and their choices, their time, their money, everything. But it just felt absolutely like I don't have what it takes. Maybe you felt that too. Maybe you have an inkling of what it is that you're here to do, but it just feels too big. I don't know about you, but for me, the potential of the impact just feels like too much. I don't know how to phrase it into words, but maybe you know exactly what I mean. Here's what I've learned over the years in my business and in my life. I've been confronted many times, and I've also felt that it's really comfortable to stay in your comfort zone. You may have seen the meme online that shows that all the magical things that you want to experience, all your biggest dreams and aspirations, all happen outside of your comfort zone. Nothing good happens inside your comfort zone. So the reason I'm sharing this is because I've learned that growth requires discomfort. It's not like massive discomfort. It's just means getting out of your lazy boy chair and stepping in with courage, which is probably why the name of my company is called Bold Heart, is because I want you to take your ear and put it on your heart and listen hard. What is that reason for being that deep down you know that you want to experience and activate? That's the heart part. And then the bold part is boldly going after it, boldly putting yourself in that discomfort phase and understanding that if you feel overwhelmed and if you feel inadequate in the sense of, I don't have what it takes, it's too big, who me? It is a sign. You wouldn't be feeling that if you were not the person who is needed. So if you are the person who is needed to make that change in your community, in your house, in your industry, in the world, you're going to be called to grow. It's going to be a bit uncomfortable. I think about all the times in my life where I've made really big changes. I had to live in the discomfort. It's not a huge discomfort, but it's like, it makes you feel alive. Like you're not feeling numb. You are feeling alive. I appreciate being in the discomfort. So discomfort and fear are natural parts of living into your purpose and expanding into that bigger version of yourself, that bigger version of your impact. So I think what I'm trying to say here is most people shy away from discomfort, and I'm asking you to walk towards it because everything you want is on the other side of that discomfort. We talk about that in that 3-day event that I am relaunching in the next couple of months. What I have lived and am living right now and invite you to play with is the power of surrender. We tend to be taught that surrender is a negative thing, but I have actually experienced the opposite. I don't know if you've read the book, The Surrender Experiment by Mickey Singer. I have recommended that book to thousands of our clients, to all of my friends. The Surrender Experiment, I recommend listening to it by audio. It's such an easy book to read, but man, you cannot make up this story, a true story. It made me realize that surrender is actually an incredibly powerful thing. I don't know about you, but I'm a control enthusiast, or I'm a recovering control enthusiast. I had to. I didn't feel safe a lot of my childhood. through some adverse childhood experiences. I feel like my winning formula was to control everything around me. I'm admitting so much to you today. And maybe you're like me. Maybe to feel safe or to feel like you had to get your life in control, you controlled things. So it's been a very interesting journey for me to surrender to what wants to come through me, to let go of the need to have all of the answers or control all of the outcomes. The spiritual part of me knows that the divine God, universe, goddess, the all that is, source, energy, whatever we call it, has a plan. And while we have free will, the law of free will, there is a plan that if we step into it, we aren't alone. So stepping into a bigger calling has required me to trust more and to not white knuckle life, but to surrender to the process, surrender to the guidance, surrender to the synchronicities, to the divine whispers, to the next right thing that shows up in my life. I hope you love the surrender experiment. It's really helped me a lot. I'm talking about surrendering and trusting and being in faith and allowing yourself to be guided. But I want to talk about some of the practical steps to stepping into your bigger calling. For me, it really is about getting clear on your big why. I want to encourage you to reconnect with the deeper reason behind why you believe that you're here on this planet at this time. What I know is that when you can reconnect with that essence, that feeling of I'm here on purpose, with a purpose, for a purpose, when you are aligned with that why, it's absolutely makes everything easier. It's easier to embrace a bigger vision if you could just get back to the core. So here I am in service of the divine feminine. I am here. I am a willing warrior goddess. In the end, I'm here in the service of reclaiming the feminine and bringing dignity back to the feminine and empowering the feminine in whatever small, medium, or large way that I'm here to do it. When I can plug back into that, it makes the discomfort less uncomfortable. So I would say get clear on your why. If you don't know what that is, I want you to think about what is the thing that stirs your soul? What is the thing that brings you alive? What is the thing that you are passionate about? That thing that's not random. That's your calling. And that's your big why. And once you're clear on that, it's not about big sweeping things. It's about actually the little action steps. We talked about this in the imposter syndrome episode. Start with small actions. It's not about these big leaps all at once. It's about taking teeny tiny incremental steps, saying yes to the next right thing. For you, it might be to read a book. For you, it might be to just journal. It could be to start collecting the signs and synchronicities. It could be to talking to a friend. It could be to working with a coach who can help you build some momentum around that calling, even if you feel like you're not equipped. It's all of these aligned actions that build momentum over time. That idea of one tiny improvement every day, as opposed to these big shows of expression and movement. And then it's about expanding your capacity and preparing yourself mentally for the work that you're here to do. Preparing yourself emotionally to handle a bigger impact. Flipping from who am I to do this to who am I not to? Again, going back to the very first episode of the Fabienne show, right? Who am I not to do this? If not me, then who? Whether you expand your capacity mentally and emotionally through personal development, through mindset work, through mentorship with someone like me, or building a support system around you, reading the right books, listening to the right audios, I'm inviting you to stretch your belief in your capability and, dare I say it, believe bigger. Part of believing bigger is what I talk about in my first book, is embracing your magnificence and understanding that you're not just a random person on the planet. This is what this whole episode is about. You are a powerful, capable, heart-led person who deeply wants to create an impact, an even bigger impact than you're making now. And understanding that the world needs your bigger impact, your bigger calling. For me, there's been this tug of war inside that says, who am I, little me? Who am I to think that I can actually help in a bigger way? Then when I allow myself to align with divinity, if you will, if I allow myself to think about what God, Goddess, universe wants for me, I realize that I want to be used for something bigger than myself. There's not a single person that I've met in the world who doesn't want to be part of something bigger, who doesn't want to be part of a movement for good. And so now is the time. You are the person who can make a difference. I just want to remind you of that. As you probably know, deep in your heart, there is an urgency. There is an urgency right now of stepping into your calling, especially given the current global challenges, the division that's going on in the world, the changes that are happening. There's a part of you that knows that you are needed, even if that ego voice says, "Who are you to make a difference?" There's a small voice deeper down inside that says, "You are needed. The time is now. Gather your force. Trust. Step in. Believe in yourself. You are more powerful than you think. You are needed now more than ever. Your gifts, your message, your skills, your talents, your experience, you are needed now more than ever." I don't know about you, but I have this crazy feeling that I've been preparing for this moment for all my life. I mentioned it earlier. I feel like I haven't even started yet. I'm 54. I've accomplished a lot, but I literally think like I'm just getting started. My feeling is that's the same for you too. So everything that is you is needed now more than ever. If you're listening to this and this resonates, it's because you feel that deep down inside too. Here's the good news, is that you don't have to do it alone. I've observed myself, and sometimes I have these big divine downloads and these great ideas and these like big plans. And when I'm left to my own devices, it's really easy to talk myself out of it. You know what I mean? You got this great idea. You read this book, you listen to this episode, and you're like, I'm going to do something worthwhile. And 2 days later, like, what the hell was I thinking? I don't have what it takes. This is not for me. I have so much other stuff going on. Who am I? I'm not equipped for this. What I've learned, and I teach this in all of my programs, whether it's personal life programs or business programs, is that isolation breeds self-doubt. The reason we're able to create astonishing results in the communities that I lead is because it's a community. It's not just you talking to me. When you're surrounded by a community of other women who are daring greatly, to use a Brene Brown phrase, when we're daring greatly together and we don't allow ourselves to talk ourselves out of that big idea, when we can reflect back to each other our magnificence, our greatness, our big hearts and big dreams, and our willingness to do what it takes for the greater good, whether the greater good is your family, your industry, or maybe your community, your country, a particular segment of the population. When we're not alone, we do so much more than we ever would on our own, especially women, because we women are built for community. We are built for collaboration. We are built for leaning on each other. That's what women do. And so I want to encourage you to surround yourself with mentors, with communities of other women, with resources that can support you as you step into your bigger purpose. The way I see it, it's like, I don't have a choice. Because if I put my head on the pillow at the end of my life, I will not be happy if I didn't go after my big calling. There are some days when I don't feel equipped, and then I turn to other people who are on the path with me, and they remind me of my magnificence. They activate my potential for greatness. This is what I do for other people as well. I remind you of your magnificence. I am here to activate your potential for greatness. In fact, I talk about this in my TED Talk. I don't know if you've seen my TED Talk. I'm going to link it in the show notes, but you can also go to YouTube and just put Fabienne Fredrickson TED Talk. It's called Activating Your Potential for Greatness. I want you to watch it. What I really want to share is that we have a collective calling, especially as women. I'm not dissing the men, but I'm a woman and I'm here to create communities of women and activate and mobilize the women through success, through delicious living, through being the fullest expression of who you are. I'm here to say that the more people, the more of us that step into our bigger callings, we collectively uplift and transform society in a very small way or in a big way. And so if you too feel this stirring inside, this nudge, this feeling that you are meant for more, this divine discontent, this seeking more impact and fulfillment, this is how we get it done. And so I want to remind you that your calling is bigger than you think. Probably much, much bigger than you think. It's almost good that you don't see how big it is because you'd be scared and go back to bed. It's normal to feel overwhelmed. It's normal to feel inadequate, not good enough, not prepared, not ready. Take action anyway. Just small action steps, little by little, day by day. One little action here, one little action here. Read a book there, work with a mentor there. Get in a community of other women who are bold-hearted. Expand your belief in yourself. Understand that you are unwritten. Thank you, Natasha Bedingfield, for your song, Unwritten. Expand your mindset. Stretch your willingness to step into it. As always, I feel like I'm a professional encourager. I want to encourage you and inspire you to reflect from a place of compassion, to reflect on how you might be playing small. Because of fear, because of worrying about what people will think, maybe fear of failure. Challenge yourself to embrace the idea that your calling is so much bigger than you realize. And that you will be led, and you will be guided, and that you don't have to figure it out on your own. I want you to take one action, a bold action this week to align with that bigger calling. Whether it's saying yes to an opportunity that you've been thinking about for a while, reaching out for support. I would love to hear from you. Maybe it's committing to your next step in business or personal growth. Take the action now. If it keeps presenting itself, if you're here, it's probably a sign there's some sort of alignment happening. You are more powerful than you realize. Your calling is bigger than you know, and the world needs you to step fully into it. Trust yourself, take small steps, and watch how your impact grows. I'm here for you. I love you. I believe in you. I walk beside you. I'm not on a pedestal. I'm right here with you. I'm sending you so much love. Thanks for being here.